All right, good morning. God bless you. We do greet you on today. Pray God's blessing upon you. I want to move right to the narrative as I only got about now 5 minutes to continue the, you can say somewhat of a series that we've been considering from Acts chapter 7. Been working through this book for some time now, and we're relentless. We have our minds made up that we're going to go through the book, and then all the correlating epistles that are consistent with the book of Acts. We plan to consider them as well. Stephen is still addressing the high priest's question. There are a number of men, brethren, and fathers who were descendants of Abraham, and he's moved to the section where Joseph is brought into view. And he says in verse 9, Stephen does, "And the patriarchs, moved with envy, sold Joseph into Egypt." And the patriarchs, moved with envy, sold Joseph into Egypt. Now, you know that this reference that Stephen makes is about the 37th chapter of the book of Genesis, if you know your Bible. And so I want to spend some time there. Of course, we'll come back to this. I want to spend some time in that section where we see the details of the patriarchs being moved with envy and coming against Joseph. I'm reminded of how Joseph gets to this point, though. His father is obviously concerned about his other sons who had went to Shechem to feed the family's flock, and his concern led him to send his son Joseph into the line of fire. If you know the story, you know how it unfolded. Joseph got to where his father sent him. He didn't find his brothers. There was this guy who was within earshot of hearing his brothers say that they would go to Dothan, and Joseph finds his brothers. And I tell you, all kinds of mayhem breaks out. And you pick it up. You see the envy that they were moved with. Interestingly, and I'm trying to get as much out of this as I can. It's always good to listen to the Spirit of the Lord if He's giving you something as you're seeking to communicate the truth of a passage. Stephen refers to them as patriarchs. I'll tell you, they were not acting like patriarchs when they did what they did to Joseph. And amazingly, God still used those men, Joseph's brothers, down throughout the years of their lives to bring to pass His plans and purposes. Those sons developed into the 12 tribes of Israel. And I don't want to say that I don't care at all about where you are in your life right now. I do, I really do. But if you find yourself in a mess and things are seeming to fall apart in your life, and God apprehended your heart at some point in time, I tell you, He never left you. He said He wouldn't forsake you. He said that He would be with you as He's continuing to be with Grace Bliss Ministries and many of His people. He hasn't left. He's still with you. And you want to know that God changed the equation of your life. And I like that Stephen refers to them as patriarchs, even though they were moved with envy, as he states. There was still patriarchs. There was still men of God. These sons who did what they did to Joseph. God used them mightily. When you go to that 37th chapter, and my time is running out on me right now, we'll pick back up in chapter 37, and we'll pick up when that certain man found Joseph wandering in the field. And, he gave him the word that he needed to find his brethren about 20 miles ahead of him in Dothan. We'll pick back up here. I'll be prayerful as we move somewhere around 11:45 weekend who came against Joseph. God bless you and be encouraged.